Hey guys, so welcome to another film discussion. For today's discussion, what I really want to talk about is Hollywood's struggle with originality. This is something that the film industry itself has been struggling with for several years now. And for this video today, I really want to talk about some things that I personally feel that the film industry can do to really make us feel like we're watching some more original, more fresh, films than what we're currently getting. Because in today's world, we always get a lot of sequels, a lot of remakes, a lot of reboots, a lot of adaptations, a lot of real life stories, and this video is going to be all about just some things I think Hollywood can do to just overall give us some more original and more fresh stories that maybe we're kind of lacking and have been lacking for the past few years now. And this is just my take. I'm sure there's other ways that they can achieve original and more creative ideas than what I state here. But these are just some things that I personally came up with that I think that more directors these days can follow to make something more original for their work. First and foremost, guys, I think we need just more creative films in general. I mean, we haven't. We've had a few animated films that have been really clever, like Wreck-It Ralph. And from what I've seen of the Lego movie so far, we don't even know what the real Lego movie is going to be out like yet. But from what we've seen in the trailer, it does look like it's really creative. It has a lot of fun energy to it, and something like Silver Linings Playbook had even had its own clever, creative moments. And Michelle Gondry is very famous for doing this too. Be Kind, Rewind very much was a creative film. I think we just need more of that. I think we just need some more films where it's just a lot of fun. We give a director or a writer or both, or a director that is writing and directing the movie, some time to just come up with something really creative and clever, and just to really have fun with a video camera. Really, I mean, it's a film production. They're given video equipment and things of that nature. But I think we just need more creative films in general. I mean, it's just in today's world, we have all these really ultra serious movies where there's very little room for creativity. And I think if we had some more creative films, I think the world would be a better place. So, and who knows, maybe we might get some more original and more fresh feeling stories out of it as well. Um, this one is, yeah and no. This is kind of one of those ones like, okay, well, yeah, this could use some work, and this part of it is fine, but it could use some work too. I think overall, and this is just something I personally noticed over the past few years. I think there needs to be less stories about true life stories and biopics. I like biopics. I like films that are based off true stories. Nonfiction stories. But it's getting to the point where it's like every other film these days has to be based off a true story. And it's just like, why can't someone just go to their desk, write something original? Don't base it off of anything. Don't adapt it from anything. Obviously use what you know to make a good story, but just like, why does everything need to be based off of something that already happened, that really did happen to someone? It's fine. We have plenty of great biopics out there right now. We have Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. We have the Ray Charles biopic, and I know 12 Years a Slave recently was a biopic and things of that nature. But it's just like we have so many of these already. It's just like I just really want someone to go to a desk and write something that came to their mind either at that point in time or at some point earlier in their life, and just to come up with something that personally came from their own mind. And I think that would really help a lot and to really make it feel more original. See, like I said, I don't mind, the nonfiction biopic films, but I think it's getting to the point now where it's just like every other film these days has to be based off a true story. And I think if we let go of that for just maybe a year or so, or maybe just, separate it from several months away from each other, not like, every 2 weeks where there's a biopic, but I think something as far as quantity goes with those, I think it just needs to be trimmed down a little bit more because it's like every other film these days has to be a biopic. Um, and then this one, a lot of people are going to agree with me on. There needs to be less sequels, less remakes, and less reboots. I mean, this is another thing too. It's like every 2 or 3 weeks, it's like we get a sequel to something, or a remake to something, or a reboot of something. And it's just like, just once again, just get someone to go to a desk, really think to themselves for a good week or so, or a month if need be, and just come up with something original that we never experienced before. It can be a subject matter that has been done before, but it has to be done in a unique way and an original way, because we just need more originality in our world. I think that's just something that we need more in the film industry right now, is just more originality. So if we had less sequels, less remakes, and less reboots, I think this might be a little bit easier to achieve. I also do think that we need to have more mainstream independent films, or indie films, as some people like to call them. I think with independent films, it makes the film director think on their feet more because the budget is smaller. You know, they don't have as much money available to them in independent films. Um, it makes them, really think creatively, really think outside of the box. And, because if you're giving someone a lot of money like Michael Bay or someone of that nature, for a big summer blockbuster movie, they're going to rely on those special effects to make the film good. But if it's an independent film where they really have to make every dollar count, it's going to really make that director think on their feet some more. And I think by doing that, independent films specifically can really stand out. Even look at the Oscars. I mean, a lot of those films are independent films. Like I said, it just really makes that director and that writer think on their feet more, do things that are actually available to them rather than going to a computer and CGIing it in later on. Um, so I think just some more mainstream independent films, I think, could really help our industry a lot, really make people think on their feet and really think about the world that we live in and make something original out of it. This is another one too, kind of like the biopic thing. It's like, okay, yeah, it's fine the way it is, but at the same time, this could be worked on. I think there needs to be just less adaptations in general. So, um, this is one of those things where, like I said, it's fine the way it is now, but it's just like kind of like the other things. It's like, every film these days has to be based off a comic book or a novel or a video game or something along that line. And it's just like, once again, just get someone to sit down somewhere, brainstorm, do some drawings, come up with something that's truly original. Because if you're basing it off of something already, you're restricting that person's creativity. They have to base it off of something, whether it's a book or a comic book, and they have to base it off of a certain thing in that. And because of that, they're not able to think outside the box as much. So I think that's another flaw of basing a film off of an adaptation. So once again, less adaptations I think would be really helpful as well. This is another one too, where it's just like, okay, this could work and this couldn't work. To have summer blockbusters have more of an emphasis on storyline, um, because the summer blockbusters these days, they're very much action packed. Not a lot of storyline going on in them, but they do have like A-list cast members in them and stuff like that. But a lot of them really don't have like huge in-depth storylines that you would see like near the end of a year or toward the Oscar season and things of that nature. So I think if there was more of a storyline to it, and then the summer blockbuster stuff like action scenes and CGI and things of that nature, was more of a supporting element rather than the main element of a movie. I think that could once again possibly help out with original story or just an overall better execution for a movie. And then for acting for like actors and actresses acting go, um, only keep reoccurring role types to actors and actresses at a minimum. So, like for example, Jason Statham is kind of typecast these days as playing the tough, the tough guy, and Jennifer Aniston's kind of typecast as always playing the hot girl in a movie, and Hugo Weaving's always typecast as playing the villain. And I think if we just allowed people to actors and actresses to play different kind of roles for every film they take on. So like let's say one week you watch Heath Ledger play, the Joker in The Dark Knight. Obviously he's dead now, but let's pretend he's still alive just for this example. And then a few months later, he's in another film, and let's say for that film he plays, I don't know, a businessman or something like that. Something different than the Joker. Already, we're going to have a different experience, and I think having that kind of difference whenever an actor or actress moves on to a different movie, I think will immediately help out, because if Jason Statham's always playing that same tough street smart guy in every movie he's playing, by the time we see another film of Jason Statham, it runs the risk of making it feel like that same story we just had previously that he was in. So that's another thing to try for originality. I think it's at least something worth trying for whatever big Hollywood people are watching this movie, or for people who are going to promote this video to them. So that's just my thought, you guys. My thoughts on all this, on originality and things of that nature. What do you guys think? What are some things that you would like to see Hollywood do to make things feel more original? You know, make the films and ideas itself feel more original. That way, we don't have to rely on sequels and remakes and reboots all the time, and always have to rely on film biopics and adaptations. So, what do you guys think? What are some things that you think Hollywood could do to make things feel more original as far as films go and cinema goes? So curious to see your thoughts, and I hope to see you here for the next video.